Welcome back to Chicago Independent Television. This episode marks the start of the 7th year of Chicago Independent Television. To commemorate our anniversary, here's a short film reviewing some of the history and inner workings of this very show.
Chicago Independent Television has covered a great many topics in the 6 years we've been in production, but we've never up until now talked about our own show. This segment is an abbreviated version of a presentation at Media Democracy Day 2010 in Chicago and about Chicago Independent Television. We'll review a bit of the show's history, a behind-the-scenes look at the production of an episode, and some words that we hope will inspire you. In Hollywood, TV shows can sometimes spin off from movies, and in a way that's how Chicago Independent Television started. The movie in question was Where We Stood, a documentary produced by 4 Chicago filmmakers about the March 20th, 2003 anti-war protests in downtown Chicago and Lakeshore Drive on the escalation of the war in Iraq. After one of the screenings of Where We Stood, members of Chicago Indie Media approached the producers of Where We Stood to consider the formation of a Chicago Indie Media video project to continue the work stemming from Where We Stood. In the summer of 2003, a meeting at Chicago Indie Media's offices was held to agree to launch a project and have as its main focus the production of a regular TV series. Subsequent meetings in the late summer and fall of 2003 were spent figuring out details about the show, and in the end, we finally decided on producing a single new half-hour episode once a month. That might not sound like a lot to have to produce, but we styled the show like a professionally produced televised news magazine, complete with a host, a regular show open and close, a series of short film segments surrounded by bumpers and non-profit public service announcement advertisements, what we collectively call the show's spine. The show finally launched in January 2004, and we produced 4 episodes in the first 4 months of 2004, but only 2 more episodes for the rest of the whole year in 2004. Things would improve. We were able to produce 8 episodes in 2005, and we now have a regular schedule where we produce 10 new episodes a year. By the end of 2010, Chicago Independent Television had produced 63 original half-hour episodes to its credit. Chicago Independent Television began with covering the grassroots Chicago response to the war in Iraq, and we have continued that coverage over the years, typically devoting an entire episode to the annual protests, including coverage of the repeated responses by local officials to block or intimidate protesters and the counter-responses by protesters in return. Our bread and butter over the years has been Chicago area protests on a variety of topics: Palestine, civil liberties, public housing struggles, environmental actions, healthcare, prison-related struggles, LGBT rights, anti-military struggles, labor actions, media activism. The list goes on. A given half-hour episode of Chicago Independent Television typically contains 4 segments, each around 5 minutes long, and over the years we've done a handful of episode-long presentations. Chicago Indie Media's video collective typically meets twice a month during months when we're scheduled to produce a new episode. At the first of these meetings, we map out our paper edit for the next episode. It's a detailed list of everything in a given episode down to the second. We also figure out details like who the host will be, what the deadlines are for submitting segments, when we expect to produce host introductions, who the host, producer, and editor of a given episode will be, and so on. In the next 2 weeks, we carry out that plan as well as we can, so that by the second meeting of the month, we hold a review screening to watch a draft of the next full episode. We watch and critique it, noting any glitches or errors or fixes to make. The final edits are then made in the next few days, and a new episode is submitted to our broadcast partners, to Kane TV on Chicago Cable, and to Free Speech TV on National Satellite. We're grateful for their assistance in helping to bring Chicago Independent Television to a wide audience. A protest or event is one thing, but a protest is there and then gone, unless it's recorded on some media. Then it's not just a protest or event, it has the potential to live forever. Too often, activists regard independent media involvement as an afterthought, or something remembered at the last minute, if it's remembered at all. The potential of protest is seriously muted without a serious independent media component. So, if you know of or are organizing a protest or event, let us know so we can record it. Better yet, if you have a video camera or video-capable mobile device or other kind of recording device, let us know so we can work with you to incorporate your footage into the show. If you're interested in being a host, or can write, or can generate ideas, or can organize. Even if you have no current video making skills, you can contribute to Chicago Independent Television. There's more to making videos than making videos.
You've been watching Chicago Independent Television, a project of the Chicago Independent Media Center Video Collective. The Independent Media Center is a growing worldwide network of media producers, journalists, citizens, and activists, working to put the media in the hands of everyday people and away from corporate and commercial interests. To learn more, visit our website at chicago.indiemedia.org. There you can find out about upcoming Chicago area events and how to get involved in making your own media, including how to help make this very TV show. Thanks for watching. See you next time.